Super Rugby is back for 2025, folks, and I think that's possibly the best possible start we could have had for an opening weekend of games. All of these teams were in the lead at some point during their games. 11 points is the biggest margin of victory or defeat. A couple of the games go down to one-pointers. There's lead changes at the death. The reigning champions have been beaten in the opening game. All the Aussie teams won. The Reds didn't even play because they're on the bye. But yeah, it's been a crazy opening weekend of games. Let's wrap them up, go through the games pretty quick. You guys let us know your thoughts on what was your game of the weekend, because there was certainly a lot to like about this first weekend of Super Rugby. We got underway down in Christchurch with game one, the Crusaders taking on the Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes had a 14-0 lead in this game. A couple of the tries to Jacob Devery, the hooker. Who would have picked him to score the first two tries of Super Rugby, but he got him on 6 and 15 minutes. And the Crusaders had a wee bit of a comeback. It was 14 points to 22 at halftime. The Hurricanes scored all their tries in the first half. They got their third through Naholo. But then this guy, Kyle Preston, who comes on for an injured Noah Hotham, as if the Crusaders didn't have enough injuries, in his debut game gets 3 tries. There's also a try to Cullen Grace and to Sevu Reece as well. Sevu Reece had a hand in one of the Preston ones as well with a nice kick in field. It was a hell of a try. A lot of highlight-worthy moments in this game, to be fair. Will Jordan, a lot of involvements as well. James O'Connor adding a bit of spice from the bench. Former Wallabies guy, obviously got connections to New Zealand. Grew up part of his life here in Auckland, but he's now playing his rugby down in Canterbury. So, yeah, good win for the Crusaders in front of a good home crowd. Scotty Barrett getting a yellow card after 3 minutes. Wasn't the ideal start, but yeah, they fought back well. And maybe their campaign is already looking a fair bit better than it did last year with this 33-25 win. Second game of the Friday games was the Tars taking on the Highlanders from Sydney. There was a little bit of a question mark about the Tars just because, you know, new coach, a load of new players, a heap of guys signed over from the now defunct Melbourne Rebels. How well would these guys be able to settle? Well, maybe didn't seem like that well at the start, because similar to the first game, the Highlanders were the ones, the away side, to go out to the big lead. They were leading 12-3 after tries to Tangitau and to Tapatapa Nawai. So good early start for the Landers boys, but they had a couple of yellow cards, and the Waratahs were able to make their way back into the game. Leota got the first try for the Tars in the first half. The try that set it up from Taniela Tupou was almost comically loopy, but they still managed to kind of get that one done. And then the second half, the two sides just absolutely went tit for tat, but there was the Tars who had the final say of the game. Their replacement prop, Amone, getting an 80th minute try with the conversion going over to take the game at the death. Really, really crazy one. I think they said it was like 8 lead changes all up in that game. So cracking start for the Tars campaign, losing bonus point for the Highlanders. I mean, the Tars dominated the position, 57% to 43. But the Landers had more run meters, 394 to 350. So maybe doing a little bit more with a little bit less. But yeah, I guess both sides showed some encouraging sides and some things to work on. Angus Bell, the big prop, continues to be dangerous, beat 6 defenders. But yeah, as I said, good start for the Tars, because they need to gel if they're going to be a force in this 2025 competition. The Drua and the Brumbies got the Saturday games underway, and the Brumbies have recorded the first win for an Aussie side over in Fiji. The Fijian Drua have been a tough side to knock over in Fortress Fiji, but the Brumbies managed to get this one done. It was another proper tit-for-tat game. The Drua were actually ahead at halftime, 20 points to 17. Tries through Kuravoli in the first half. Loganamasi as well got one for the Drua boys in the first half, despite a couple of yellow cards not helping their cause. For the Brumbies, Pollard got one from a maul. Saps was got one for some nice backs play, and Lonergan got one as well in the first half. And then second half continued the try scoring. Karuwa Level got 2 for the Drua. And then Van Neck and Reimer with a couple at the end. Reimer, big impact on this game, winning turnovers. And yeah, scoring a couple of late kind of close range tries. I mean, some of these tries just varied in their method of scoring. I mean, you had maul tries, slick backs tries, 10 plus phases, close range tries, turnover ball tries. Yeah, proper highlight reel worthy stuff. I think that game, if you look at the stats, I mean, the Brumbies defended at 90%, their tackle percentage, which is cracking. And the Drua were at 81, which is probably going to be a bit low, but ultimately the penalty count was 11-7, so the Drua also a little bit ill-disciplined, probably cost them a bit. That's going to be something to clean up. Second of the Saturday games, the Blues taking on the Chiefs. My Blues from Eden Park got downed by the Chiefs in an impressive second half performance from them. Did a full match review for that one if you haven't seen it, but yeah, that Chiefs bench, pretty hard to beat. The Blues looked alright in the first half, tries to Papali'i and Lamb, but they didn't have as much ball. And when the Chiefs, first half they were kind of just going for penalties, but when they got the try scoring going in the second half, 2 through D-Mac and 1 through this guy Leroy Carter, the winger on debut, yeah, they started to look the business, didn't they? The forwards just absolutely dominated in the rain up here in Auckland. I mean, the defenders beaten 41-15. It's pretty indicative of the dominance the Chiefs guys were getting over the Blues. They had 64% territory to the Blues 36. So, yes, not many sides that can come to Eden Park and boss the Blues around like that, but the Chiefs did it and were pretty good value for their wins. The Blues are actually bottom of the log with the worst loss of all the losses this weekend. Low losing bonus point and the biggest losing margin of 11. And the final game of the round was Moana Pacific heading to the Force, which is probably the craziest game of them all. Because Moana Pacific, like many of the away sides this week, go out to a nice lead. Trosu Tomofolau and Justin Garden Bishop. 2 early ones, but then the Force get a couple back. Tizano, maul try. He gets 2 maul tries at the start of this game. Greeley gets 1. You got Patafilo getting 1 for the Moana Pacifica guys as well. So 27-24 was a pretty high-scoring first half. You've even got a drop goal from Jackson Garden Bishop. You don't see that many drop goals in Super Rugby, but we had one. And then the Force looked to have lost this one because the Moana Pacifica guys get tries through Tupo and Taumatene on 71 and 72 minutes. Back-to-back quick-fire double means it's 44-31 with 5 minutes to go. But the Force don't know when they're beaten. Try through Peach on 76. And then Donaldson on 84 minutes. And I've seen the Moana Pacific guys a bit criticised for, oh, well, I guess if you don't tackle, then you're going to lose games. Super Rugby doesn't tackle. That's a bit harsh, man, because the Force had to go 26 phases to get that try before Donaldson got his break. 26 phases is bonkers. That's a lot of defending. So credit to the Force for keeping on fighting, man. The Donaldson one was a hell of a break and it was a hell of a try. It was actually the Force who had the lower tackling percentage. The Moana Pacifica tackle percentage is 88, which is pretty fine. Like, I mean, there's no missed tackles when you concede maul tries. That's just a thing. But the goal kicking for the Force, 7 from 7. Moana Pacifica, 5 from 7. In a game which goes down to 1 point, I guess a wee bit costly. So, yeah, that's the fixtures from round number 1. The Chiefs are sitting on top of the log with their win. The Blues are at the bottom. Crusaders 2, Brumbies 3, and Force 4. So 2 Kiwi sides, 2 Aussie sides. Waratahs, Moana Pacifica round out 5 and 6. Then you got Highlanders, Drua, Reds, Hurricanes, and Blues. Remember, the Reds are yet to play because they have been on the bye. Next week, Friday games, you got Chiefs, Crusaders, which should be a cracker with both sides having got round 1 wins. Reds and Moana Pacifica. It's good to see Moana Pacifica staying in Australia, even if it's a fair flight from Perth over to Brisbane, but means, I guess, reduced kind of travel, keeping the fixtures, back-to-back Aussie games for them, and the Reds will be getting their season underway. Then Saturday games, Hurricanes, Drua, so the Drua go on the road, which has traditionally been their weakness in Super Rugby, and they have a little bit more pressure on them having lost in week 1. Highlanders, Blues is a big match for both sides having lost their openers. Blues fared a lot better than the Highlanders last year, so they will probably be under pressure to get the away win, but the Highlanders at home will certainly be a chance. And the Brumbies Force Aussie derby between 2 round 1 winners. So yeah, lots to like about round number 1. The Waratahs will be on the bye in round number 2. I thought it was a pretty cracking start to the season. I've seen there's a few people arguing in comments about, oh, this Super Rugby is better than this, or this league's better than that. Super Rugby doesn't defend. I don't see the point in it. Can't we just enjoy the rugby? Because it was pretty entertaining. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.